live stream. In today's live stream, we are going to be talking about snail production, snail farming. In the previous class of WhatsApp, we have done a lot. So today, I'm going to recap everything that we have done so far, so that for the benefit of those that were not here when we started, so that you can also benefit from the training we have done. We have done a lot. I've done a lot. So I'm going to be taking all the things we have learned, all the topics. I'm going to be explaining them one after the other. I'm going to be explaining them one after the other. So I'm going to be explaining all the classes one after the other. I'm going to be explaining the class one after the other. So if you can hear me, just type I can hear you so that we'll start. I'll start the class properly. I welcome you all to this today's live stream. Wherever you are watching me from, you are welcome to the live stream. You are welcome to the live stream. So if you can hear me, just say I can hear you so that I will start the class. Can you hear me? Hope all of you can hear me. If you can hear me, just say I can hear you. There's only one person that is online now. Can you hear me? Okay, so we are going to deal with all the old topics we have done so far. So for the benefit of those people that were not here, were not in the previous live stream, for the benefit of them, that's why I want to recap everything we have done so far. So I really appreciate you for your patience, for coming for the training, coming for this live stream. It's not easy. I'm going to benefit a lot from this live stream. Okay, now the topics we dealt on the lives in the previous classes, we talked about introduction. Our first topic was introduction to snail farming. We talked about how to select breed of snail. We talked about how to eradicate microorganisms from your farm. We also talked about recommended food and drinks for snail. We also talked about the breeding of snail, the type of places that is good to breed your snail. So these are the topics that we talked about. So that will explain everything. Let me check. Let me just tell other people to come online. Okay. So without wasting of time, I'm going to dive into all the old topics now, one after the other. So first of all, the first one is the introduction to snail farming. Snail farming is the act of breeding of snail. Farming of snail, domesticating snail, bringing snail from the forest to your farm to breed them. You understand? That is what we call by snail farming. That is the simplest definition. Domesticating snails, bringing them to your farm, bringing them to your home for your breeding. That is a snail farming. Then how to select snails. Okay. Selection of snail is one of the most important aspects in snail farming. Now, how you can select your snails is you select snails that are healthy. You understand? When you want to stock your first stock, it's advisable that you snails that are healthy, that their shell is healthy, that they're not broken, not snails that are weak. You understand? That's why I always encourage my students that you should not buy snails from people that are not farmers. Always buy snail from farmers that are well known in the business, because if you buy from farmers, it will really help you. It will really stop a lot of things. It will stop mortality in your farm. Now, a lot of people have mortality because of carelessness and ignorance. You can't say you are farming snail, your first breeder stock, you go and select from market women. Most of the snails that those market women used to sell are not healthy because they are exposed to sun. Snails are nocturnal animals. You understand? They are when they say animal is nocturnal, it means that they are more active at night. And you put in the ground 30 minutes, they have not moved. Don't select snails that have any shell that is lacking calcium. Don't select those type of snails. Select snails that has a good shell. Select snails that is actively moving. Select snails that can eat. You understand? Not that you put food for your snails. 3 hours, you come back, you see the food there. No, because as they are eating, they will be increasing. You understand? As they are eating, they will be increasing in size. Then we also talked about how to eradicate pests. Now, in every business, there are enemies. There are enemies in every business. So the enemy of snails are pests. And the pests we are talking about are pests like the different types of pests that really harm snails are ants, lizard, cockroach, soldier ant, even human being is a pest to snail. So you don't need to already that we have really made a lot of people to stop snail farming. A lot of farms are being invaded, that ant have invaded. These people stop to breed snails. So now, how can you get rid of this ants? How can you get rid of them? Now, what you have to do, let's say you are practicing pen system, because in the training I talked about the wooden pen system. The wooden pen system is the system where you construct your box, your wooden box, a wooden box, and you put your snails there. Now, how can you eradicate ant from that places? What you have to do, the leg of the leg of the wooden box, you know the thing will have four corner leg now. The leg, what you have to do is to get big concon. You put the leg inside the big concon, then you pour water and put engine oil. You understand? Pour water and put engine oil around it, in the place around it. If you put it that way, any ant that want to climb into your wooden box, your wooden pen cannot enter again. You understand? So it's very important you have to take note of this. Then if you are practicing pen system, what you have to do also, you have to always be spraying ant killers around your farm. Always spray insecticide, not inside your pen. Spray around the environment. You understand? Spray around the environment. And one thing you have to do is that once the snail eats, the remnant, what they eat and remain, don't overkeep it there. You understand? Once you overkeep it there now, you will make ants to come to gather the place. Once you give your snails food to eat, once you give your snail food to eat, if they don't finish it, you remove it. Then the next day you can give them back. Don't just keep the food there. Let's say you are giving them watermelon for an instance. If you don't finish it, what you have to do is to carry it back to your where you are keeping them. You wash them again and give to them. Then if I give them pineapple needs to attract ants easily. So if I give you the pineapple now, you make sure that The next day, you have to remove those pineapple peels from your farm, from your pen. If not, it will attract ants to your pen. You understand? You attract ants to your pen. So that is what you have to do to eradicate all these ants. Them always put ant killers, then put engine oil. Then for those that are practicing greenhouse, what you have to do is to do trench system. Trench system is a system where in the corner, if in the corner of the place, you put gutter round the place, you seal it round the place so that any ant, any insect that go close to that place, instead of going to enter into your greenhouse as a crop to close to your greenhouse, that water that you put engine oil and some ant killers. So anyone that try to go inside, they will fall inside that trench, that water that you put, and they will die. Meaning your snails will be healthy. So you have to take this aspect very serious. You have to take it very serious so that you will not lose your investment. You understand? You have to take it very serious. Make sure that your environment is always clean. Snake, don't allow snake to come to your farm. Make sure that the environment is always clean. If the environment is clean, always ant that will not be in the place. If you keep your farm dirty, you expose your snails to insects. You expose your snails to ants. You understand? So ant, if you ant enter your farm, you can kill, even though you have 1,000 snails. Once ant invade your farm, you can kill off your this thing, your snails. And also rats. Rat is one of the most wicked predators of snail. What rat will do? Mostly the juvenile. Rat will just go and eat the juvenile. You know, the juvenile are very fragile. Even me, when I started this farming, I experienced it. Where I kept my juvenile before I went there, rat are eating all the old juvenile. What I was seeing was shell. So where you keep your juvenile, you have to cover it in a way that rat cannot enter into the place. You understand? You don't need to expose them because in the night you will sleep. You don't know what is going on. So you have to protect your snails by covering them very well. So that is how you can eradicate predators from your farm. That is how you can eradicate predators from your farm. Then the next topic we talked about, the next topic we talked in the, let me get the next topic. Hold on. We talked about where to select your parent stock. I've explained it. Where you can select your parent stock as for is from farmers, those that are farming already. Those are people that will have healthy snails, not just ordinary roadside sellers. No, those snails will not produce well for you. Farmers, the snails they have because they give them calcium. Calcium helps snails their reproductive organ to develop very fast. So if you buy from farmers, farmers they give their snails calcium. So their shell will be built very well. It will help in building their shell very well. You see the snails and their body very fine. It will not be brownish. You understand? So if a snail is brownish, the shell is brownish, that means it's lacking calcium. And if it's lacking calcium, it can't produce well. You understand? You can never produce well. But if it's not lacking calcium, the snail will produce well. The snail will be able to increase in size. You understand? So that you will know what you are buying. You can also you ask those farmers questions, but those market women they don't have knowledge. So you as a novice, if you go and buy from them, you are harming yourself. You are not doing yourself any good. So you buy from when you are selecting your snails to start up. You buy from those already in the business that can put you through. This is a mistake that people will do. They will go and buy cheap snail and stop. When they see that the snail are not producing, they will come and be disturbing us that my snails are not producing. Even though we are not the one that sold to you. You understand? Issues like that people call us, but we'll see help you, sha. But try your possible best for a start. Buy from farmers. Buy from farmers. Now the next topic we talked about the type of housing system. Now we have different types of housing system. Intensive system, we have the greenhouse system. Now, intensive system is a system build your snail farm in a larger form. You build your snail farm in a larger form. That intensive system, inside that intensive system, there is where we talked about block pen. Block pen is an intensive system. You understand? Those your boxes are in the intensive system. You understand? Those your box pen, your block pen, those are intensive system. Then semi-intensive is like the greenhouse, the natural habitat for them. That is the semi-intensive in a larger form. The big one that you construct a greenhouse snail farm. And I encourage you, if you have money, you have to do the pen system where you use pen, block pen to construct your farm. You do the block pen, then also do greenhouse. Very important. If you have money, no matter how small the greenhouse is, because the greenhouse is a natural habitat for these snails. Understand? Once the snails lay in the pen, what you have to do is to transfer them back to the greenhouse. Now, the greenhouse is like fattening. It's a natural environment. You understand? So it's like fattening for the snail. So it's very important. So we also talk treatment of your soil before you put your snails. Now, before you put snails in your snail farm, you have to treat the soil. This is a mistake that most people usually do. You have to treat your soil. You have to treat your soil. Now, how can you treat your soil? What you have to do, let's say you are using the box system, that wooden box. How you can treat your soil is you get the soil. The best soil for snail farming is loamy soil, the black soil. I showed you in our class. They have black soil is the best soil for snail farming. What you have to do, you get that black soil, then you heat it in fire. You put a big pot. We have about two ways in treatment of snail soil. The first way is you put the soil inside a big pot and you cook it, you turn. You set fire and you turn. So as you are turning, any microorganism that is in the soil, be it ants, be it the eggs of ants, anything that is microorganism that is inside the snail, the sand, they will die off. So you have to do that before you put them. You put the soil inside your pen before you introduce your snails. Another way you can also use and treat your soil is by pouring hot water. Once you get your soil, you boil enough hot water and pour in the soil. So any ant, any microorganism that is inside the soil that will harm your snails, as you pour that hot water, it will kill all of them off. You understand? It will kill all of them by making your snails to be safe. So these are the two basic ways which you can treat your snail soil. Then for greenhouse system, what you have to do after constructing your greenhouse, what you have to do is to mix hypo and kerosene and water. Hypo, kerosene and water. You mix it together, then you sprinkle it all over the greenhouse. That is when you do this thing before you put your snails, before you even plant your crops. You understand? Before you plant your crops, you mix the hypo and the kerosene and the water. You sprinkle in the after you have finished constructing, you sprinkle it. So any insect, any snake that's inside it will die before you even plant your crops for your greenhouse. So that is another thing. Then we also talked about the danger of snails. I've talked about the danger of snails. We have ants, we have millipedes. So where you are keeping your snails must be safe. You don't keep your snail farm clean. You understand? When you expose your snails to bacteria, let's say you feed your snails, let's say formulated feed. You keep the formulated feed. You don't for like 3 4 days. You don't remove the formulated feed. You will be seeing mucus on the formulated feed. You will not still remove it. The snail will still be eating it. After some time, the snails will contact disease. You understand? The snails will contact disease. So when they contact this disease, you will see whitish substance. The snails will bringing out whitish substance from their body. You understand? They will bringing out whitish substance. Before you see, the snails will start dying. That's why you talk about hygiene is very important in snail farming. You must make sure that where you keep your snails is clean so that those microorganisms, those bacteria will not affect your snails. So we also talked about that one. Okay, now we also talk about the snail profitability. Now, snail farming is very profitable. I always say this to all my students. It's very profitable, but because in snails, everything about the snail is useful. From the shell, the meat, and the slime is very useful. Now, let's start from the meat. The meat is being consumed by human beings. The demand of the meat is very high. Like me now, I don't eat cow meat. All those cow meat are not too good for your health. So, but snail meat, from research that have been done by medical personnel, they have seen that snail meat is very rich. It's more good than that white meat. So instead of you to be eating cow meat, pig meat that are not too healthy for your health, eat snail meat because snail meat is very good for your health. So the demand of the snail is very high. That's why it's more expensive. Snail is more expensive than meat. You understand? Snail is more expensive than meat than fish because of what it can give in the body. Then for the slime is basically used in production of anti-aging creams. It's used in production of anti-aging creams. Creams have to do with the treatment of all those skin diseases. A lot of women suffer from skin diseases, uh, lapa, all those all those things them. This when the slime they use in production of all those creams. Even currently in Nigeria, one of my friend is into that production. He produces cosmetics with the cream. You understand? Which is very good for your human skin. It's very good for human skin. Then for the shell is very good for calcium. The cells serve as calcium for animals, the shell of the snail. So once you kill the snails, everything is useful. The shell now can be used to boosting the egg. For those that are into poultry business, if you blend the shell and put into your poultry eggs, poultry feed, it will help to boosting the egg. And if your snails your poultry birds the eggs are not growing big, it will help in increasing the egg the egg to be big. So that's another usefulness of snail farming. Now we also talked about how to formulate snail feed. Like all animals have their own feed. Now how can you formulate this snail feed? Poultry we have feed, piggery we have feed. So in snails now we also have feed. Now how to formulate snail feed is very easy. The materials we use is very easy. So I'm going to be listing the materials down. So you are going to write down these materials. The number one, maize. So maize, guinea corn. These are the basic things that we use in production. Then calcium. Calcium. The sources of calcium are bone meal, fish meal, oyster shell. So what you do is you get all these materials I've called. You understand? You get all these materials I've called. You grind them together. Let's say you want to produce. You can produce a small scale for your snail farming. Can for the maize you can get like for the maize you can get one custard one, soya beans one custard, guinea corn half custard, then the calcium 5 kg, then the millet 4 kg. Once you blend everything together you have gotten your snail feed, a standard snail feed for your snails. The snail feed will help in boosting the growth of the snails. You see that the snails be growing very big. You understand? The snail be very growing very big. So that is how to produce snail feed. Then we also talked about now at what age is good for you to select your snails, for you to start at what age is good for you to the breeder snails. Now from that kind 4 to 5 months now the snails are already in breeders. So from 4 to 5 months, you have your breeders snails. You have your breeder snails. Okay, then we'll talk about the usefulness of snail slime. So I talked about that is the slime is used in production of anti-aging creams. It's used in production of scrub for treatment of skin diseases. Then he also used in production overseas. They use this slime to produce drugs for treatment of human health. You understand? So the treatment of human health, some diseases that the slime can cure, like stroke. For those who are suffering from stroke, the slime is very good for it. The slime is very good for it. Okay. Then we also talked about hydroponics. Yes. Now, hydroponics is another means of feeding for snails. Hydroponics production. How can you produce? What is hydroponics? Hydroponics is simply producing crops without the use of water, planting crops without the use of water. You'll be amazed that what is hydroponics? Is it possible for me to grow crops without water? It's possible. Technology, that's why we are researching every day. So for snails and other livestock, you can grow hydroponics for your snails and other livestock. You can grow hydroponics for your snails. How can you grow hydroponics for your snails? Let me explain to you. Now, how you grow hydroponics, you have to take this part very serious. How you can grow hydroponics for your snail is, for example, now you are using soya beans. What you will do is you soak the soya beans inside water. You get the fresh soya beans, the fresh one. You understand the fresh one? You get it. You soak it inside water for like 5 hours. Soak it inside water for like 5 hours. Then as you have soaked it, enough water will enter into the body of the soya beans. After that 5 hours, you drain away the water. I'm teaching you now how to plant hydroponics for your livestock. You drain away the water. Then what you have to do is you spread it in a flat tray, very flat tray. After you spread it, what you have to do is you put hole so that the excess water can be falling out. You put hole in that your tray. The best tray that you can use is all those tray that those in those bakers in bakery, those kind of that flat trays, and you can use them. So what you would do is you do a check. You do a check for them. For example, now this thing is flat now. Let's say this is the tray. Eh? You have to bend it like this so that any water, the water will be falling. You understand? The excess water will be falling out from the tray. So what you have to be doing is to sprinkle it water every 30 minutes. You sprinkle it water. So within from the next day now you begin to see the like it work like magic. They will start be growing. You understand? They will start be growing. In 3 to 4 days time, your hydroponics is ready. Till we grow up, you can give it to livestock. If it's for snails, from that time 2 to 3 days, it's okay. You can give to your snails. It's very rich for snails. Then for poultry, for another days, you leave it for that kind 5 to 7 days. You can give to your goats, give it to your goat, give it to your sheep, give it to your cow. That is how you will do it. That is the technology that the British use. Those Oyibo people, that's what they use. That's why you see them, they don't take their cow moving about like the way they are doing here in Nigeria, taking cow moving about, destroying people's crops. They don't do that in overseas. So they grow these hydroponics crops for animals. It's not only there are different crops you can grow hydroponically. Soya beans, you understand? You can grow soya beans for livestock. So these are the things that you can grow for hydroponics. So this is how to grow hydroponics. I believe you are enjoying the class. So it's in snail farming and invest in agriculture for us to stay out of poverty. So that at least you not be hungry. Country is hard though. Currently now in the whole world, the whole Africa, we are suffering. The only way out of this poverty is for us to invest massive that you can eat. You can any sector in agriculture, you can do it and you have enough to eat. Okay. Now we have about snail egg incubation. How can you incubate your snail egg? Now we have basically two in incubating snail egg. The first way is incubating using takeaway container. Using takeaway container. What you have to do is you get your takeaway container. You get your takeaway container. You get your takeaway container. Get your takeaway container. You get your takeaway container. Then what you have to do in that takeaway you put your soil. The best soil that used to ash me very fast is loamy soil. That black soil is the best soil. So once you get the takeaway container, you put hole in the down the bottom of the takeaway container. Then you pour your loamy, you put your loamy soil, you put your loamy soil, then you put your eggs. You could use the eggs to cover, use the soil to cover the eggs. Even the cover of the takeaway, you put hole for oxygen. So the egg will ash. Within that kind of from my experiment, my years of experience, from that kind of 13 to 30 days, the snail's egg will start ashing. If you do it well, they will start ashing within that kind of you keep a separate pen for your what you have to do in that your separate pen is that you dig like 5 inches deep, you pack your eggs and put inside. They will see ash. So once they ash, what you have to do is you bring them out. All will not ash the same day because most times when you go and pick your eggs them, most times the eggs that you pick, they may not lay the same period. So all will not ash the same day. So the ones that have ash, you bring them out, you take them to the nursery where you nurse them, you give them more. You have to give them more of a watermelon, pawpaw. You spread this, you spread it where you are going to keep your young juvenile should not be too big because they are babies, so that they will be having easy access. So you put enough food in all over the place so that they will not be going and be looking for food. It will not be hard for them to look for food. Manage your baby snails. Like I said earlier, you do a small breeding box for them. You put enough food for them. Make sure that the place you keep your baby snails are always cool. Is very important. The very fragile. So the place you are keeping, understand, must be cool. So how you can make the place to be cool is you can cut plantain, plantain fiber. You know, after you cut the plantain, that the body itself, the fiber, you can cut into pieces small, 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 and put inside your pen where you keep your baby snails them. So once the temperature of your farm is too hot, the baby snails will go under those plantain, the body of the plantain fiber, and be taking the liquids. It's very cool. If you look very well, the plantain fiber, this thing is a secret. It's a secret. Now, another secret that is to make snails to grow very fast is water. If snails have access to water, eh? If your snails have access to water, they will grow very fast. This is a secret that people don't know. So you have to make water available for your snails. You always see snails in cold places, places that are cool. That's why if you go to the northern part of the world, places that are hot, you don't see snails that much. But if you go to cool places there, where they have access to water, the snails will do very well. They will grow very well. They will grow very fast. They will grow very fast. So you have to make sure that when you keep your baby snails are very cool. Now, we also talked about how to avoid mortality in snail farming. Now, mortality, how do you avoid mortality? That your snails will not. One way you can avoid mortality Hope you are writing down. One way you can avoid mortality in snail farming is you have to always make sure that you don't give your snails anything that contains chemical. Give them anything that contains salt, anything that contains acid, any source of acid, anything that contains oil. You can see these things I'm mentioning. Don't ever take it near your snails. Don't ever. Always make sure that anything that you are giving to your snails are safe. If you get fruit from fruit vendors, once you bring it to your farm, make sure that you wash them, because most times all these fruit vendors are kerosene, fuel can fall into these things. Then you know it's reminite now. They may even pour kerosene inside it. You will not know. You give to your snails and you begin to see them. My snails are dying. What is the reason? Most times it's because of the feed we are giving to them, the food we are giving to them. So you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful when you are giving your snails food to eat. Keep your place, your pen clean. Keep your environment clean. That's how you can avoid mortality. Keep your environment clean. Always give them food that are healthy. Make sure that there is water available for them. Because if there is no water available for them, the snail will die. The snails will die. You understand? So make sure that you have water available for them at all times so that they will not die. They will be alive for you. You will make profit out of them. Then we also talked about the market target. Yes, the target of your target as a beginner snail farm, people that will buy for you, those are for consumption, they will buy for you. Those that are into consumption will buy for you. But you that are my student, I will have companies that can buy 25 liter, Coke bottle, that 25 cl. Currently, the last time we sold it at the rate of 10,000 naira. So, but before the lab, we test it, we purify it before you can sell. You understand? So, for all my students, once you have slime, you can sell to us, or we connect you to our international buyers, because different people buy from us, from UK, from Canada, from US, from South Africa. Different countries buy slime from us. You understand? Because it's used for production, but the slime has to be treated, and they buy it very. The one I'm talking that we sold 10,000 naira. Yeah, even within Nigeria, companies buy, cosmetic companies buy. I know that if you sell to them now, dollar is very high now. I believe that dollar is up to 800 naira now, if not more. Sef. So if you sell to those foreigners, then it's a foreign exchange. So you benefit more. You benefit more, because Nigeria, we have the best breed of snail. Now the best breed of snail that is very good for slime production is the Achatina marginata. Achatina marginata is good for slime. Then Achatina fulica, the best for slime so far that they have tested. The best for slime so far is the fulica. The fulica is very good for snails. The fulica is very good for slime. The fulica is very good for slime because the fulica egg is rich in slime. You understand? It's more rich in slime than other species of snails. You understand? Within Africa, we have basically three breeds of snails that are common in the African community. We have the Achatina marginata. We have the Achatina. We have the Achatina fulica. The Achatina marginata is very common in countries like Nigeria, Togo, Benin Republic, Morocco. Is in Morocco. Is also in Tanzania. Is also in Zimbabwe. These countries I'm calling. Is also in Ghana. That's where you find more of the Achatina marginata. Then inside the Achatina marginata, we have two subspecies. We have the AMS, Achatina marginata sululata. So sorry, Then we also have Achatina marginata ovum. Then we also have one breed we call Achatina achatina. The Achatina is a common to Ghanaians. If you're a Ghanaian watching me, you have more of Achatina achatina. The Achatina achatina. Then we have what we call the Achatina fulica. Achatina fulica. Uganda, if you are Uganda watching me, Uganda have more of Achatina fulica. And this Achatina fulica is more rich in slime. The slime from our test, the slime of the fulica is more good than other species of snails. So these are the basic. The man to worry yourself. So far as I'm your mentor, I will definitely help you all to succeed in the business. So I've said so much. We have trained. We have discussed so much. If you have questions based on anything that I've said, it's now time for you to drop your questions here. Drop your questions so that the ones I can answer, I will answer here. Then the ones I can't answer, I will answer in the group. So if you come in contact with this live stream and you have any question, you can call me on my number 080-633-45443. So to God be the glory. We have come to the end of the live. All of you that I appreciate you all that made it to the ending of the live stream. It's not easy. My truth is even paining me now. So thank you very much. So we'll continue in the group. Thank you. Thanks for your time. Bye for now. So we'll start up the training now in the group, the remaining parts in the group. Bye.